Welcome to Steve 87th, Puget Sound and Pacific Railroad.
Hi everyone, this is Steve 87th PSAP Railroad, or Puget Sound and Pacific. This is my channel, and I just wanted to invite you guys to come along and watch as I build my railroad, build up some kits, do some kit bashing, and running trains like the one behind me. So if this is what you guys like to watch, stick around for a while and see if you like the channel. Hey everyone, it's Steve from Steve 87th PSAP Railroad. I'm gonna bring you another kind of a quick video just to finish up on the silos and tanks and all that. I'm gonna show you how to do some Rix tanks, and it's gonna be kind of short because they're not that hard to put together. It just takes a little bit of time. And then I'm gonna show you a couple of tips that you can do to make some other tanks for your layouts. Also, just remember, keep everything that you got, because when you make these plastic models and all, because you'll find out that some of these parts that they've got, or the extra parts that you have, you'll be able to use on other things. And I'll show you one of the things that I used for my concrete plant. Okay, so just kind of stay tuned. Again, this should be a short one, and I'll just show you a couple of different things that I'm going to do. All right, take it easy.
All right, so these are the different types of Rix tanks that you can get, the RIXs. This one here, this section right here that you're seeing down below, is an HO scale size tank. And I'll show you how these all go together. These are fairly easy. This section over here is an N scale tank. And you might ask, why am I doing an N scale build on an HO layout? Because sometimes you don't need the HO scale. But by taking it half size down, it makes it easier. Okay, this is going to be the grain silo top. We also have the water tank, or the liquid tank, that we're going to use down on the bottom. These are a little bit different, and it's actually going to be easier to see, I think, on the silver how they're different. And they also have a different roof. Now, I also have a black one that I'll put together that I'll paint up at some other time in the future. Okay, so the way that you put all of these together is the same exact thing. Oh, sorry, let me put that. That's actually the grain elevator that I'm going to use for this smaller silos. So the way that you put these together is the same. The only problem is you need a lot of clamps, okay? So what happens is you go ahead and you take these off the spurs. Once you take them off the spurs, the one thing that you got to know is you need 6 of them to make a complete height. Okay, so that will make 1 round. All right, now the big thing that you have to do with these is put them together. You do not want to do this all in one shot. If you do it all in one shot, you're not going to make it round. It'll be a lot tougher. So what you want to do is you want to start with 2 at a time. Makes it really simple. Plus, and the one thing that you're going to do is you're going to be limited to the amount of actual clamps that you have. So these fit together really nicely. They come up, there's beveled edges. You put the bevels together, you can see right there. You can hardly see where the 2 of them are at once they're together. And then they've got these portions that are sticking up. Do not cut those off. You want them for later. Simply come up, put a small bead of glue right along where they're going to match up, but make sure that it's down low, because if you take it high, right, then you're going to squeeze some of it out and it'll come out into where the ridges are. So just take a small amount of glue there, come on, and then some more glue out on the finger. Okay, once you get the glue together, the next thing you want to do is slap these on. Now you can see here, you can just barely see that there's a little glue. Wipe that away really quickly. Now, in some cases, you can make sure that they're going to stay together, but what I like to do is I like to clamp them together. Okay? So, this is where you get limited. Depending upon how many clamps you have, for me, that's about how many you can put together. So, that's only 1/3 of the circle. So, you have to put the rest of them together. So, we've got 2 more already put together, and if you look and you put them all together in this respect, you can see that now I have almost a full circle. And when I come up and put the last one on, I will then have a full circle. Okay? So, but again, you got to take this slow, because if you use everything, if you take everything all at once, you're going to get out of round. So to build this up, this is where I say it takes a lot of time. You're just going to go ahead and put 2 of these together. Clamp those together. Again, same premise all the way up. Once we get an entire round, we'll show you what to do next. Okay? So those guys are going to hang out there. We got that one drying up, and we got another one drying up. So I'll show you guys how to build this up after you get after I get some of these glued up. All right? I'll be back in a little while. All right. So now that we've got the doubles done, now it's time to put the third one on. Now again, like I said, the bad thing about these is you need a lot of these little clamps. You don't have to use the clamps if you don't want to. I think it's just more secure. And the reason I'm doing 3 of these, because I'm going to show you guys what it's going to take to finish these off. All right, so now we've got glue on both sides. We got one over here and one over here. So get the 2 of them together. Oh, this is the ring that has a broken one. So you can see now how it goes together much more like a circle. That's what you want. You want it to be round. Once you get these in, see how it wanted to pop out there? This is why it's kind of good to have the clamps. Even though these are bent and round, nothing ever really wants to stay round. Especially if you put it like this, it'll always be square. So, just want to follow, do all 3 of these, put them together, let them dry. And once those are all dried up, we'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to put these together and how we can finish this off. All right, and then we'll move on to the tank. All right, so we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, so we now have 3 rings. You can see here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more rings to go. 7 more rings to go. The nice thing about these, you can see they put together easily. This one I actually broke in the beginning, right? And put them on a nice flat surface. They don't wobble or anything. Now, the little things I told you not to cut off. You don't ever want to cut those off. The reason is, this is the way you stack them. All you have to do is stack them just like that. Now, you can see here, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can offset, which is probably the best way to do it. You offset the lines where the glue is. You could even offset them closer or around, whatever you want. You can. The only thing you can't do is stick them on top of one another. So if you offset them with a 1/2 by 1/2, that about works, where you're halfway in between the 2 glue sticks. Now, why don't you want to cut these things off? Okay, so you can stack up as many of these as you want. So with me, I'm going to do whatever this is, the 6 or 7. So it'll get up fairly high, right? You look at it this way, you can start building this up and it gets pretty high, right? Well, the problem is you sit there and go, but I got these things sticking up on the top. That's really easy because of the way that these are made. All you have to do is turn it over. Once you turn it over, you stick that now within. That's going to be the hardest one to do because you got to get it on both sides. You stick that in. Now you've got it on both sides and it's zeroed out. Once you get that, you just put the top on. Now again, the nice things about these, the top goes on, but you can put as many layers of this as you want. You could make this 150 feet tall. You could make it this short with 3. You could even make it shorter with 2. So that's what makes these so versatile rather than putting two sections together. You can go up as high as you want. Also, one of the other things that you can do with this set is you can actually get add-ons. Okay, so you can get more rings to go up. So if you want to build it higher, you don't have to buy a whole new set, and you have an extra one of these laying around, another top laying around. So it's really simple. You just keep building those up. It's, you know, kind of like some of the old sets, things that we used to play with when we were kids, and you get it as high as you want. There's the same sort of principle that happens with the tank as well, but the tank is a little bit different, which is why I wanted to show you how to do that. Now, if you can't find the extension where you can go onto their website and get the extensions, you can also go on their website and get tops. So I was going to tell you that there's a little thing that we can show you to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so I have a set that I bought that was already built up. Let me go get that. I'll be right back, and let me show you the height of that, and then I'm going to show you a nice, easy, cheap way to do it where all you have to do is buy tops. So I'll be right back. All right, model railroaders. So this is a setup that I had bought at a train show. It was a really good price. The guy did a really nice job, weathered it up and all. But the thing that I wanted to talk about most was the tank, or right, the little silo. You can see here you can put more details. The details come actually with the silo kit. They also have piping that comes along with it so that you can do the pipes that feed the silos. There's also different fixtures and pumps that can go on there, as well as a door to enter into the silo. But the nice thing about these Rix silos is because you can build them up as many rings as you want to. You can see here, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mine is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's actually going to be taller. I think it's actually going to be 9. So it will actually be taller than that. So real quick, fast way to do it. One of the other nice things, if you go on to the Rix website, they have piece parts. So you can buy these parts separately. You can buy the lids or the tops separately, the covers for all of these, as well as the piping and some of the other accessories, as well as extensions. So you can make these things as high as you want, as tall as you want to, or as short as you want to, like I was saying. But another thing that's really nice is if you can get the covers, right? That's one for an oil tank that they show, a 30-degree cover. This is a cover for a grain silo and all that. There's a few things that you can do with these. They don't quite fit on PVC to make it easy to go on a PVC top. However, there is one thing that they do fit on pretty well. So if we look at how far across these are in inches, these are actually going to be, so they're like 3 1/4 inches wide, almost a little bit more than 3 1/4 inches wide. So PVC pipes won't work for that, but I did find something that will. If you like soup, there's an easy way to have dinner and get a tank or a silo out of it. This is a progressive soup can. The soup can, you can see, it's just a little bit taller than this one. So, but it would probably be about the size of a 7 or 8 story one, level 1. So it's still not that big. But the lid fits right on top of it. Yeah, you got all of these ribs that don't look good and all that, but you can go on the internet or even take a picture of this, go in, get some software, put it on a piece of paper and wrap that around there, and there you go. You've got another grain silo if you want it. Or with another top and flatter pieces of paper that have more of a steel look to it, you can have a welded tank. You could have a riveted tank or whatever, however you find it. But those fit right exactly on those cans. And so you pay $2, $3 for the soup, you have dinner, and then you can also, I think it's like $2 or so for the lids, a little bit of paper, and you can have yourself a nice little silo. There's also I think the tops of these are only like $2 or $3 on the Ritz website. All right, so these tank tops will not fit on PVC pipe, right? A lot of people like to use PVC pipe for their tanks and their silos or other things. But if you go to shapeways.com, there's actually a guy who makes tank tops for PVC pipes. So you can get a 2-inch or a 4-inch size pipe top and put it on there and then use them as your tanks. Another cheap way to do it besides the soup cans. A third way that you can do it, still using the PVC, a little bit more expensive, but PVC comes with caps and couplings. So if you don't want to go get your PVC cut and deal with all of trying to clean it up and clean up the pipe and all that, both the covers, the end covers, if you get like a 4-inch one, it's fairly good size height. It also has a rounded type of top on it. So you could do a little bit of artwork, a little bit of sanding, and you have a ready-made tank right from a 4-inch cap. You could also use, if you want a flat top tank or if you want a higher pitched roof or something like that, you can also use the couplings, which will be bigger than the 4-inch pipe, because they've got to go around the coupling, and then you can put a flat top on it. So the couplings themselves are also going to be about 4 to 6 to 8 inches tall, depending upon the size pipe that you get. So those are a couple of quick, easy, cheap ways to make a lot of tanks. They don't cost that much, and they're fairly easy to put together. You could just do it with paper, with some cardboard, to wrap the outsides, weather them up. You saw what I did with the last tank that I did. I just wrapped that with some gauze, made it look more like cement. So there's a lot of ways to make tanks. You don't have to go out and pay for the expensive tanks that you can get from Faller or that you can get from Walthers or anybody like that. These are fairly cheap, inexpensive, easy ways to do it, especially if you need a lot of tanks. If you're doing a large layout, say, of an oil storage or even an oil refinery. The Rix stuff is really cheap. They're under $20 a spot. Again, you can go on their website and get pieces and parts so you can make those as tall as you want or as small as you want. The other thing is don't forget to look about mixing the scales, right? This is going to be a lot smaller than what this one is. It's going to be probably half of the size, but that's all I need for it. And you can get add-ons for this, so you could actually make them taller, like you see at some different places, like feed plants and stuff, which on my other layout that I'll make, I actually have a feed area where it's feed, it's not corn and meal and things like that that's actually coming in. So they need different size silos. So just think of the different ways that you can use and on other different things that you can use when you go to the hardware store that do the exact same thing. So what I'm hoping to do, finish some of these things off. That might not be for another week or two that you guys see that video. And I'll show you how to make this. The only other thing that I'm going to show you guys how to make is the riveted oil tank. And we'll try to get to that and show you what the difference is between the riveted oil tank and the serrated paneled feed tank. Okay, so we'll be back in a little bit. All right, so let me show you what I've done with my oil tanks. One of the oil tanks I've already spray painted to be more of the silver type look that you see. The others, they come as a normal black color. That's not bad. Black is a really good basic color that you can have on a tank, because then you can just spray paint it whatever. But what I wanted to show you guys is, you can tell here that I've banded these together. Again, there's 6 rows. If you look at the corrugated one, you can see that this is basically 2 rows of the corrugated tanks. Okay, so these will be 4 layers high, but still, even at 4 layers high, you're talking each one of these layers is about 1 inch, so you have a 4-inch high tank. Okay, that's a pretty good sized tank. And again, you can get expansion tanks so that you can go up higher and all that. But the reason that they're banded up is because, hopefully I can show you this a little bit more, and I did it differently on these because I kept these together. On these, let's see if you can see. There are rivet patterns. So these are the riveted ones. We'll see if we can get a good picture of this. But there are rivets here along the side, and there is a row of rivets here, and there is not a row of rivets up here. Okay, so that's one stack. And you have another stack that only has a row of rivets here with no rivets on those two sections. And then finally, you've got two rows that have rivets here, rivets along here, and rivets along here. So when you actually put these together, you're going to put them together in those types of rings. So that's why these are set up. These are set up with a row of double rivets, a package of single rivets, another package of double rivets, and then a package of no rivets. The way that this has to go, you start off with a double rivet. Okay? You then, according to the directions, you then put in a no rivet row so that you have no rivets on both sides because they're going to be done on that. You then come up with another double rivet row. Okay? So double rivet, no rivet, double rivet, and then finally, in order to ensure that you get a nice smooth top, you finish off with a single rivet with the single rivets being up on the top. So again, like I showed you how you flip those over, you do the same thing here. So you'll have rivets down with that coming up, this coming up, and then these will go down, which will then give you a line of rivets along the top of your tank, so that once you put the top on, you can see where the rivets are at. So that's the only difference. On these, it doesn't matter where you put them, how you put them, because they're all just serrated. These, they actually go in a specific order. So just remember that when you're making these tanks, okay? So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put some tanks together, we're gonna show you. Okay, everyone, so just wanted to come back and show. So I went ahead and put together the different levels for the big tank. We've already got one tank finished, but I just wanted to show you guys how we do this. So you can see here, hopefully, yep, there we go. You can see here that this has got big band of rivets, and then a set of rivets here, and then a set of rivets up top, right? So that's a top and a bottom rivet. This has only got one set of rivets. So what you want to do is, you want to put this one together like this. They go on real simple. You just kind of make them so that they go in each one of those holes. And there's a couple of ways to glue this together, but you can go ahead and make sure that you have breaks in between. But now you've got rivets here, rivets there, rivets there. So that's good. All right, now we've got the same thing with this. We've got double rivets, right? And you got rivets up there and rivets down there. So this one, though, doesn't have any rivets on either side of it. So since you got rivets on the top and the bottom, you want that. You got rivets in the middle. So once you put this in here, you now have a row of rivets on the bottom, okay? So now rivets on the top, rivets on the bottom, rivets on the top. You want this to be nice and clear up top so that you can put your roof on. You don't want these sticking up like this. So these go there. And again, now you have got all the rows. You can line these up straight up and down. So now you've got rivet, rivet, rivet. I know I sound like a frog. A rivet row and a rivet row. So now you've got all of your rivets. You can simply just put the top on like that. And there you have it. You've got a completed setup. Now, the other thing is, there's a couple of ways that you can put these together or glue them together. You can slide these slightly apart, and if you wanted to, you could just take your glue, which I did on some of these, and just put a dab on these, each one of the little raised faces. Makes it kind of fast for one way to do it. You don't need to go around and put it on the seam, and just put it down, okay? So that's a fairly quick way to do it. The other way to do it is you can go inside and just put some glue in to wick it on either side. Okay? So just real quick, doesn't take much. The good thing is you don't have to go in at the seams, so you get a lot less glue in on the seams. Again, just eyeball where the center is. Now, we'll just do the last one on the bottom here, make it kind of easy. So you could go from the inside and just take a bead of glue on either side of the skinnier parts that stick up onto the next side. Okay? And that works just as well. And some of the glue will wick down underneath. By far, putting it on the tabs is the easiest way to do it, because you just push it on down, right? And then that wicks on in. So you go all the way around. You got that all done. So now you can see, yeah, we got some overlay on some parts. Some of the glue is taken off, some of the paint that was on there. It's okay, we can give it another shot. Now, for the top, you can see it's got these beads. So again, now that you've got rivets on either side, it doesn't really matter which way you put this, so long as you put the top on. And once you put the top on, you can go into the inside. I know this is really, really tough to see. But you can go to the inside, place this down, and then wherever you have the dipples hitting, those little top sections hitting, you could just put some glue on either side of it. Okay. Let the glue dry. Then your tank is finished. So within that short period of time, I was able to do these two tanks, right? The silver one and the black one. So I've got water tanks. You can see that it's got a detail of a hatch up on top. Okay. And it comes with extra pipes that you can pipe into it. Okay. I made these little N scale things. Can't think of what they are right now. The N scale grain containers, the same as this one. So you can see they're going to be a lot smaller than those two. And then the other grain container I have, you can see, is taller than this building. And I didn't put these all together yet, but I could take a few of these off, make it smaller. Or I can use even the more additional rings on this and make it even larger. Okay, so there's lots of different things that you can do with these. Those are the Rix tanks. They're cheap, they're easy, they're fast. On these, it has its own elevator, so we'll put an elevator up there together. Finish that off so that it goes on there. And it'll work inside over by the bakery as a couple of small tanks to be filled up. We may wind up putting a large tank up there too, but I'm not too sure. And then one of these tanks will be used for the liquid on the other side. And again, if you wanted to, you could have made this only 3 high or 4 high. You can get an extension kit to make it taller. So that's kind of it. If I get a chance, I will show you guys probably the next set of videos that I put out. I may show you guys how to use it for the cans and the PVC pipes. But for now, that's what we've got for our silos. There's some more things, some more details to put on here. Make this work for it. You could put a man door in here or just hook pipes up to it. Whatever you want to do. There's also an area up top to insert a pipe into that or put in a vent so that it can be vented out. And then you weather them or paint them up again. So that's it for the silos and different types of ways to do it. So hope this was informative for you guys as well. I'll show you guys this one when they're done. when we put it all together and put it up on the layout.
Okay, everyone, that concludes my series on building silos and tanks and all that. Thanks for watching. That took a bit longer than I wanted it to, but I hope it was informative and that you guys got a lot of information out of it. So if you have any questions or something like that, leave it in the comments below. Again, I hope this helps you guys out, especially for those who are making the grain silos or even going and making a large refinery. Okay. Thanks for watching, and again, leave your comments below. Subscribe if you'd like to, forward this on to other people that you know. But anyway, have a good night. Thank you.